Into the season of the heart, which is Leo season. Why is it of the heart? Why is that so important? Because Venus retrograde is happening for the whole duration of Leo season and is going to end up going into September. So this is the live stream to prepare you all for everything that you need to know for this upcoming Leo season. If you're just watching this now, make sure that you share, like, comment, share it to somebody who you enjoy or don't enjoy. If you know they don't like astrology, send it to them too. Doesn't really matter. But appreciate the love. Appreciate you all for showing up here for a little bit. I'm just at a point in my content where I'm like, man, I could sit here and overthink making like 5 videos, or I can just go live and tap in with the people. So, hello, thank you for catching a live stream. Hopefully y'all can hear me and all that good stuff, but we're going to get into this today. Now, Leo season. What's the most important part about it? Fire, right? We're just leaving Cancer season today. Today is the last day of this emotional wreck that we have been experiencing called Cancer season for the last minute. Hello, what's up, y'all? Not to say that this is what Cancer suns are like or what Cancer moons are like per se, but to say that we have all been experiencing a lot of emotions. Why do I know? Because I've been like, let's talk about these emotions in these memes, and next thing you know, everyone's like, oh my god, the horrors. Like, and the whole idea behind Cancer season to begin with is to purify your intention by getting out those old waters that no longer serve you. The one most important part when it comes to like the ocean is that it ebbs, it flows. There are things that go through, there are things that leave, right? Can you expound on Venus in retrograde and what's to be expected? My last live stream that I did was 45 minutes on Venus in retrograde. I'll talk about it a little bit here just to give y'all some context. But if you really want to know the depths of Venus for real, I put out my ebook, my Venus and Astrology ebook, for absolutely free. So if you go onto the link in the description, it's going to have literally how to learn your Venus, what happens with all the Venus background, as well as a little tidbit on what this Venus in retrograde in Leo is going to look like. And that's written. I'm going to be also dropping a new ebook probably this week. It's honestly a masterclass ebook. It's 100 plus pages, just breaking down the regular astrology. I'm going to be putting it out for like a little bit over $20, but it's going to be like your one guide to just go to when you're like, I have an astrology question. What's happening? Perfect guide to do that. Or obviously just ask a question and get the reading. But regardless of the case, that's going to be a beautiful resource for you all. So I appreciate that and appreciate y'all showing up. But just as your girlie said, just hopped on. What did I miss about my season? You didn't miss anything. We're about to get into it right now. Perfect timing. So Venus in Leo retrograde is happening moments before the sun goes into Leo. Mind you, Venus is at the end of Leo and the sun's going to be coming into Leo for the first time, right? This year. But the concept with this is that people's emotive, their feelings that were just riled up minutes ago. Love you too, appreciate it. But like their feelings that were just riled up minutes ago are going to start to actually, they set you free in a way. And I think what's so important with this Venus retrograde is like, because your emotions have now set you free and you're now free to kind of go about life in a new experience with new permission slips to actually explore life, tap in with the people that you enjoy. What's really important about the retrograde portion is like, okay, but now we got the emotions out the way. What do your relationship structures look like, right? Do you have somebody that you can call your friend? And this isn't something to, if you don't, this isn't something to like worry about in a negative sense. The reason why I'm asking this is because it's like, there's people that don't have a friend to just randomly call on, or they don't have a friend that like they can send a random memes to. And that's real. On the flip end, there's people that might have too many friends, or their energy is scattered to so many people. Or there might be somebody who has a partner or a few partners, and they're like, I don't know how to juggle all this at the same time. Venus retrograde is trying to show you, what do you actually at a core level want to have a relationship with? Yes, spot on. It feels like you're our cosmic counselor. This is what I do. If you do want a one-on-one cosmic consultation, which is what I like to call it, Please sure to pull up, because every person's reading is different, by the way. I think that's something to really point out. Every single person's reading is different because every single person's chart is different. So I really do approach every single person's like energy with the honoring of where they are just naturally and organically. So I really do love opening up this space to really explore that. I think there's a lot of like cookie cutter things, which is why I'm like, if it's going to be something cookie cutter, let's put out the guide. Here we go. Let's put it on the cheap. If you want to go learn, easiest way to learn. I made sure to specifically have it so you have to look at the chart, look at this, look at that. But that guide will ground you into the experience of learning astrology. And that's the goal behind it. Regardless, to move forward though. Are you familiar with human design? It's BS. No, playing. It's not BS. But my problem with human design is that if you don't know the totality of all the systems that get used in it, you're already lost, to be honest. It's like, how did you get to this result? It's like, well, we used all of this. It's like, all right, but like, how did this happen? They're like, oh, we'll tell you for $500. Here's a 15-minute video. And for that, I do not rock with it. So on the flip end, astrology, resource that's always been there, what they use to literally make those things to begin with. When you get back to the core of what's going on, you get to see why people make systems versus being in a system where like even finding information is hard. So for me, I can't champion that because the information is so difficult to obtain. And I think when things are like too difficult to obtain, they're trying to do something else, and I just don't personally resonate with it. Not to say there's not good things from it. Knowing your type and energy type is interesting, but you can learn way more through your astrology than anything else. But to move on further, right? I'm gonna get fancy. I have Jupiter in an Earth sign, so that's just to let y'all know. But regardless, back to the Leo season, because we really want to get to the info at hand, and I can tangent for days. So the Leo season, the energy that's going on here. This is for you to really move your trust in your passion. The passion that you have, the passion that is really invoking within you, especially as this Cancer season is ending off. Because Cancer season was all about wiping the slate clean and I can't believe this happened to me. And now this is going into the new phase of like, okay, this has happened. But wait, look how great I came out of that though. Look how much I learned. Look how much experience that I ended up gaining. And now I'm untouchable in these areas. How you doing? But like now I'm untouchable in these areas. Now y'all can't blah, 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 right? And so Leo season is going to be heavily impacted by Venus retrograde. I actually haven't seen this astrologically in a really long time. And the point behind this is that your heart, I'll put it like this, right? We're at a stage in the world right now where Hollywood wants to literally scan your face, pay you a one-time day fee, and own your likeness forever. So they can just use you as a background whenever they want, for whatever movie they want, however they want, whenever they want, right? And on the flip end, we have people that legitimately have their whole entire lives driven and made up of creating things that are beautiful, right? They're amazing writers. They're amazing actors and actresses. They're amazing just people that work to bring the things that we enjoy so much to life. And we're at this weird stage, as I said before, where I'm like, late stage capitalism is going to try one more hook, right? Because we're at this contingency of people learning to embrace what they love and just be like, yo, I got to do this thing. And if you're smart enough, use the AI and contingency with what you love. Do it. Use the tool for the parts of what you don't understand. Oh, you don't know how to understand how to write marketing copy? Use it then. But don't use it to like make what the heart is, because that's something that is not necessarily proficient at. And that's not a problem of the information. That's a problem of all the information of all the people that are always pumping it info. So if you think about it, there's a person next to you that's looking up something or maybe similar, but they have a completely different mindset, right? So every person's mindset that gets used it becomes the pool. That's the reason why it's getting to the point where, like, in some cases it's not giving as much good information, because the other information that got put into it is BS. Now on the flip end, you, the person who's living their life, etc., you have a passion that has been invoked within you since the moment that you were born. And the reason why I love doing astrology so much is because I just get to see people have that aha moment of like, oh, I'm on the right path. Like, oh, this is really a part of my story. And what's so important about Leo season is telling your story. What's so important about Venus retrograde in Leo? Not being afraid to like let your story be who you are. So many businesses, so many people are so caught up in the like, how do I make money next? And it's like, yo, I told myself when I was a kid that I was going to get money. I was going to live my life, live a successful life, built off of being myself. And if I'm not honoring what that is, then I'm not going to actually be happy. And that's something that's so real, and I think resonates with a lot of people. The difference is some people are like, hey, let's go ahead and do this. And it's ugly. It is ugly work. It is not something that everyone is built for. It's really not. Being an entrepreneur, doing things like that yourself, not everyone's built for that, and that's perfectly okay. But if there are people that want the tools or want the advice, and you see people BS so much stuff, there's so much like propaganda, there's so many like things that are just in front of us where it's like, yo, do you understand how much your eyes on like just an app is valuable? You get what I'm saying? There's so many different like avenues with that, right? I just want to be a parental teaser. Nah, but the idea though, right, is that hi Aquarium, that's dope. But for real, like this is when you know, the shift into heart-based work, heart-based marketing, heart-based anything, you feel the difference, right? Will the North Node help us? That's a great question, honestly. And yes, the North Node will help because the North Node just went into Aries, right? North Node just went into Aries. Is going to be making a trine. It is making a trine over to Venus retrograde right now. So that's actually a really good point. Thank you for pointing that out. But throughout this season, the North Node is like helping you really step into that. Really helping you just step into like, yo, I'm here, right? Yo, this is just me being present. Yo, this is me just showing up all the time, right? And that's the thing. You're lying. What do you do to get rich? This is honestly a good season. Go download my Venus in Leo ebook from my website, and then you'll be able to figure that out for yours specifically. But yeah, so this is literally all of me and what's happening for me right now. I love when people say this because I'm like, do you not, like, this is my job. I'm supposed to be more accurate than the meteorologist. Like, this is what I do. But I understand and I appreciate the love for real about, like, you know, it's been really dope. It's been really dope. I'm not answering any specific questions about Venus retrograde that I don't feel like, because I have a whole entire free ebook on it. So you could just click on that and it will tell you the things. And I also have my last live stream on it. And when we start to end, one of the things, this is a side note, you might have noticed I don't necessarily do like it does affect Leos more. I will answer that. It does affect Leos more. If you have Leo, sun, moon, or rising, it's going to impact you more. That is something I will answer. But the idea of this though is that, like, when we start to just break down, hey, what about my sign? Hey, what about my sign? Hey, what about my sign? You're missing the message, because we all have every sign within us. It's just whose role is what? Whose role is it to philosophize? Whose role is it to speak on these things? Oh, that's my role. I'm a Sagittarius. Bet. This makes sense. I'm supposed to be doing that. That's my role. That doesn't mean this is the only thing that I am. But this is my role to play, to open other people's eyes and perspectives and expand their horizons off of things that they didn't even notice were great about them to begin with. That's my ish, right? And this Venus and this Leo season that's happening, this is really making sure that, like, you step into your power in a way that is uncompromising to yourself, right? And if you can't, and the whole idea behind self-love, I honestly hate the narrative on it, because of course I have controversial opinions. But but like, so many people are like, oh my God, just love yourself. It's like, what does that mean? Because I think there's so many people that sit there and they're like, oh, love yourself. And there's a difference between loving yourself and letting yourself go in terms of love, right? Or like, and letting yourself go can play out in so many different facets, where it's like there's a huge thing on rest, right? There are a lot of people, since they've been going to like different therapies, are like, well, you need to rest, you need to do this. But there's some people that take that idea of rest as, let me not work on the things I actually care about because resting is important. And it's like, rest is a very integral part to things, but the way that the narratives that they tell you, they leave you without power. They continuously leave you without power. And that's why Venus retrograde is so important, because it's like, wait a second. Yeah, I can still rest and still work on a thing that I do. And just because I'm resting doesn't mean I'm not working on what's going on there. But the way that they have it, they just want you to sit down and like not do anything. And then what you going to do when you do nothing? Well, now the AI got your job. What's next? You feel what I'm saying? We're in a really interesting time. So don't, if you feel a type of way, if you are feeling the times right now, and you're like, I'm just feeling so many things, and everyone's looking around you like, what are you concerned about? Like, no, these are legitimate times where these things are really happening. You get what I'm saying? Like, this is real life, what goes on, and people like to shrug it off, but it's really happening. Let me see. I want to go back real quick. But boom. Love how I teach. We just be talking. Every time I try to teach something else and I'm not like in the space, I can't make it happen. But if I'm here to like really give it to you, then that's it. And that's part of the gifts, right? Moving into Leo season is making me hard to make it some movement. Beautiful, right? I'm not quite sure why people hate retrogrades, as it is just a point of reevaluations on the matter pertaining to the planet. That's life, though. Are we not meant to reevaluate things? Shout out to Grand Trine Astrology for that. So yes, people hate that, and that's the thing. Where like we have been taught as a society, to just be cogs in the machine. Actually, to be so fair with you, and just in my personal experience of just reading and learning, I personally think a lot of the things that are behind mental health are not designed for your health. They're designed for your obedience. They're trying to say, how obedient can you be if we just told you to go do something you didn't want to do? And that's the reason why it's like, oh, you have a deficit. Meanwhile, you can get up, start painting, and paint an entire day away, and make something that's worth it. Make something that's so beautiful. You get what I'm saying? Just to let y'all know. But we exist in a go, go, go mindset. That's true. And I think that some people, they're built for the go, go, go. If you have a bunch of fire in your chart, yeah, you're built for the go, go, go. But you do need to rest. But you do need that time frame, right? On the flip end, there's a bunch of people that have earth and they don't know how to get started. They don't even know how to like really like put themselves out there. And that's why, as a contingency, it's so important for you to realize that you are the whole entire zodiac chart. The goal of the zodiac chart is to learn your skills, learn where that sets in, and for you to balance the other elements in your chart that might not be there. Or you might need to work on the parts of who you are within that chart. Right? Not every triple fire sign is actually up active being like, hey, let's talk for like an hour straight. Whatever, let's do it. Some of them might need to take more time. And that's just you understanding who you are in conjunction with your birth chart. And as we get closer into a little bit later on into this month, we have actually Mercury going into Virgo, right? So in Leo season, Mercury is going to go into Virgo, and you're going to start seeing the specific parts of why if you so scared of, you keep saying you're scared of that transit, get a reader. You tripping. Come on, I got you. Nah, well, I got you. But yeah. Oh, when the retrograde is over, you have deeper meanings on these topics. Let's go. I'm gonna use a perfect example. I was about to, originally I had slated like a masterclass on like astrology stuff like today. And I was like, at first I was gonna do it, but then I realized I'm like, this isn't even in my heart right now. Like, I already wrote something for it. Like, let me just put out the thing I wrote for it this week because I already have it done. Versus, let me go ahead and try to, like, force my heart into doing something that's not with the times. There's a season for everything. There's a time frame for everything. then this doesn't mean that you stop what you're doing. This means that you look at the energies going around, see how they work with you, and how you can better utilize your own skills, talents, and hard work that you've developed into something that just works easier. That's what my work is about. It's just showing you where it's at, what your energy's at, what's your point of magic, and like making that happen in the world and letting you go off from there. And it's so beautiful seeing the results of people. I've had people that I've taught, they're speaking in the front of the charge when it comes to all of the acting strike that's going on right now. Got people that I've taught that they're doing like Vogue. They're like doing astrology and like fashion. And I'm just like, oh, this is so dope. And I'm so proud. You know what I mean? Because it's really just like, hey, if you have a talent and if you have a skill and if you don't use it, the universe will come through and smack you up about it. And if you think like, oh, well, it doesn't look like this, it doesn't look like that person's over there. It's like, how are you going to be blocking your own blessings trying to look at somebody else's? How are you going to block your own blessings? Because for all you know, that person that you're looking at being like, oh, their life is so perfect, want to be you. Now what? Now what? That person or that girl that you wanted to look like, that is literally the opposite of your natural type or whatever the case is, and you're like, I want to look like that. And it's like, yo, you just missed out on someone that wanted to love every single piece of who you were as a human being for somebody who wanted to objectify what's going on with something that you don't even resonate with. Leo season, am I right? How's that acting strike? Yo, they bugging out. It's disrespectful, to be honest. But I'm not actually an actor, but I definitely love working with creatives. So my heart goes out to them when it comes to this, because like this is really what I like help do this for. But yeah, and I was like, after seeing that, I'm like, yeah, I don't need to act. We good. We chilling. Like, I'm just gonna be myself and get paid from that, because that's life. For the longest time, I felt I've been putting my energy into stuff that doesn't resonate with me. Yo, so here's something that I want to point out to y'all, right? If I'm saying you're putting energy into stuff that doesn't resonate with you, that's not time wasted. But this is you now being like, I spent all this time doing this job or doing this thing I don't like, right? But now you have to get outside of yourself, turn on your observer, as my Deborah Silverman loves to say, but turn on the observer, and you have to like look over yourself and be like, oh shoot, what are the skills that I've acquired from doing this job I don't like? Like, what are the skills that I've picked up? Oh, you work with people. Now your communication skills are better because you've been having to talk to people for so long. Okay, well now you have people skills that maybe you didn't before you had that job or that thing that you didn't want to do. Or like, oh, I didn't know how to write out a schedule, but now I'm working this job where I have to schedule this person's whole entire day. And now it's like, well, you wanted to make content, you know how to make a schedule. Why don't you just make the schedule that you would make for them other people if that's something that comes naturally to you, right? Oh, much love, yo. Have a good one. Stay up. Shout out Grand China Astrology. But nothing is wasted ever. Shout out Monique for that. That's a fact. Moon Romantic said, as a Gemini, and if I say schedule and you're like, not everyone is meant to have a schedule. Like, I wrote something at the early beginning of Mars and Virgo, because everybody was like, it's Mars and Virgo. Write a list. Write a list and cross it all off. Write a list. It's Mars and Virgo. As your resident Mars and Virgo, if I write a list, it's not going to get done. You want to know the truth about the Mars and Virgo energy in general? If you write the list is the excuse to just get the things done that you already know you need to get done. And yes, if that helps you specifically, perfect. Use it. If that doesn't resonate with you, don't do it. Just do the things that you know you need to do, or take the first steps to do those things. That's literally it. And people want to be like, write a list, everybody, just make a list. And now we have a bunch of people listening to all these other random people writing lists about things that they ain't even check over. That's not built for their energy. That's why getting a reading is so important. Because it's like, hey, here's the actual contingencies of the energies that you have. So if you want to sign up for my email list, if you want to sign up and basically be that, because I end up sending some special deals. I'm going to be sending out a couple of nice things over tomorrow type deal. I'm probably going to drop my ebook tomorrow, to be honest. But this is going to be a solid amount. But I really hope that y'all get to tap in for that, because that's just a really good tool to just have. And when you're like, I'm confused, I don't know how Leo energy works, I have like sections just there for you to go ahead and peruse. But yeah, so true. Some people get anxiety from it, trying to be like others, like you said. And somehow we are back at the Leo season point. You cannot be someone else. Even if you are someone else or you change over into someone else, you are still who you are. Like, forget everything else. Forget about the idea of gender. Forget about the idea of sex. Forget about the idea of everything for a moment. And just think, you are a spirit in a vessel existing on this plane. And whatever you make of that is yours to make. 100%. But when we get so caught up in trying to figure out how to explain the identities that we have to other people that refuse to feel us, we're missing out on even activating our own heart. On even activating that. Because if I'm like, it's like certain things are obvious, right? It's like I could sit here, let's say, right? And I don't necessarily do this, but it's because I think I do better justice by showing up, right? But I'm clearly somebody who's black. Am I sitting here being like, Black Astrologers Guild, No, I support them real time, real life. I'll be in their comments. I'll be cheering them on. I am making sure that they're good, unless they are vile and terrible human beings. And if someone comes to mind, yes, that person. But the idea is that, like, genuinely speaking, this is one of those things where it's like, you already see that. And so for me to sit here and try to just be like, hey guys, do you remember that I'm a black astrologer? Is a waste of time. Because it's not about me being a black astrologer. It's about me being an astrologer. It's about me being able to connect this voice from people from here to across the world, to Australia, to wherever else, because astrology is a language, right? I have people, which is something I never thought of, which is crazy to think. I have insights on like Instagram about people that have been watching my stuff recently, and I have a whole like, shout out to y'all if y'all are here, but like a whole like Indian population that really enjoy my work. And it bugs me out in my head because I'm like, don't y'all have your own system? And they're watching my stuff. It's like, because when the truth is the truth, you feel it. When something's going on and you know like, hey, like this meme is making sense because I just saw this happen. That's what this is for. Ball right? Hey, that's what's up. But you get what I'm saying? Like, we have, and shout out to my people for international. Y'all make my Sag heart so happy to be able to do that. It makes me so happy. But the concept of this Leo season, right? What did you just see me do right there? Let's back this up. What did you just see me do right there? Oh, that makes me so happy. That makes me so happy, right? That's the feeling everyone's trying to chase. Money is one thing for sure. But love is something so different. And love looks different for everybody. But love is something that we can't explain. But everybody is built off the contingency of what can I do and what would I get love for, right? You definitely succeeded at that because I am from Kosovo and I found you completely by accident. Okay, love from Oxford, England. Love your content. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't even know what time it is for y'all right now. But the love is still there. The love is still there. I treat y'all like y'all the homies because genuinely speaking, we really in this human race-ish together, right? And the great equalizer of everyone's culture, their BS, or whatever the case is this right here. Because this is Earth's science. So you can look whatever way you look. You can identify however you identify. You can transition. You can change. You can go back. I don't care because you are a person. Live in this same world. Same world. You know what I'm saying? And I just loved being able to really do this for y'all for real. And I'm getting a little sentimental, to be honest. But I love being able to do this for y'all. At a certain point, me going on Instagram live, very Venus in retrograde, right? Yo, shut up! I'm talking, bro. No, stop. But the idea though, with like Venus and like this Venus retrograde, I used to work for a company that made me hate going live, and I had many times to like have to recover from that, right? And now I'm just here actually being able to enjoy the space versus thinking it's whatever the case. Yo, y'all up dumb late watching this. Much love. This is so fun. But it's like, this is the vibe. This is the energy that ends up changing. And when Leo season changes, coming up right now, it's a brand new stage for you to stand on. It's a brand new energy for you to bring to the table. Because if you really base everything that you do off of what you actually like, your life changes. Your lifestyle changes. And when it gets to the point where that caps out, how do you change it again? And that's what Venus retrograde is trying to do, is have you review and rechange the aspects of things that you want to bring into the world for people to see and for people to understand about you. And if you are so strong in your actual beliefs, you don't have to go up to somebody and tell them who you are, because they're going to feel you. I get such a kick out of telling people I'm an astrologer. And it's just because of the way I say it, they're like, oh, shoot, he's really astrologizing. And I'm like, yes, I am. Why? It's emanating, right? Back when I was doing other stuff and other like creative work, which I mean, I still do and still love. But I was like, yeah, like I do some music sometimes, I'm like a creative, and like I do photography, and like, it's like, oh, and like I model sometimes. I'm like, it's like a bunch of fun. And then like I kind of do astrology work too. And by that time, it's like, yo, I just explained all of these different things. And now whoever was listening has completely checked out of the conversation. And this also goes to show, with Venus retrograde, what is the thing that you actually love, and are you willing to show up and just say it? Because I think people are so scared of rejection that they never grow. They never grow. I was literally, I don't know what? I was having a conversation earlier today, like literally today. And I was like, yo, there used to be guys like in my grade when I was a kid, right? Who they would never talk to any girl. They would never like know how to even approach it. They would kind of ask for like hugs from people sometimes. And like, one thing that always just like blew my mind is I'm like, yo, you're trying to pull the finest girl in the class right now, but you've never talked to any of these people to begin with in order for you to even know what you need to know to start to talk to someone that you actually want to do that for, right? And because of that fear of that initial rejection, they're like, you want to know what? I've never shot a basketball in my entire life, but I'm going to shoot this Steph Curry shot from all the way over there. And then they shoot it, and they're like, I got this. And then they just airball, or they hit the brick, which is even worse. And then they don't recover, and they don't recover. And these are also the guys that grow up and they're like, I hate astrology. But that's a whole different point for a whole different time. But what I am saying is that if you were at least able to talk to, I think this I have a little crush on them. All right, let me just say hi, right? By the time you say hi to the person that you actually like, you're not like, hi, I'm here. You're like, hey, what's up? Oh, yeah, we're in the same class, right? Yeah, I saw you, whatever the case is. But I'm just saying the principal concept is that if you don't get denied, if you don't get any form of resistance, you're never going to learn. You're never going to know how to properly love somebody when things get real if you ain't never like have those moments prior. Like the human spirit is really built on experience. And so if you are that person that's scared to talk to somebody that you like, go shoot your shot in every coffee shop, and don't, it's not like you have to go get a date from somebody. It's not like you have to like do anything about it. You could just be like, I want to work on my confidence of saying this. And that's you just going up to someone being like, hey, you have nice shoes. I really like those. And maybe that conversation, they're like, oh my God, you like these shoes? Let's talk more. Or maybe they're just like, oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And then you keep going with your day. Right? I think when people get so caught up in their own space and trying to look perfect, which is a very big Leo season issue that happens, is that everybody on Instagram starts face tuning everything, and they're just like, look how good my summer is. Meanwhile, they literally still in Cancer season energy, crying because they didn't get it out during the new moon. They cry and they're like, oh my God, I'm so hideous. And everyone's like, you're beautiful. What are you saying? Like, you're beautiful. What are you saying? And they're like, no, I'm not pretty enough. Oh no, I'm not pretty. And everyone's like, yo, you have so many like factual people that want you. They're like, yeah, but it's not the person I wanted. It's like, well, if the person you wanted showed up today, do you know how to talk to them? Have you had enough experience in life for you to know how to talk to that? Can you even handle a baddie if one came through? No matter what gender, whatever the case is, can you? No? Well, maybe you just need to talk to more people. Maybe you'll realize that there's some people that are in between that you've been denying that actually want your best interest, and that's why you don't like them. I heard somebody screaming. Someone in this chat right now was like, ah! I felt it. I don't know who it was, but I actually felt it. Regardless, right? This is what I'm saying. Love you, Leo in the 10th house. Beautiful. Take me back to Cancer season. I didn't cry enough. Hey, I was trying to tell y'all. No, play. It resonates so much, I'm scared. I'm here to scare the hoes into loving themselves more so they can be better at it. Yeah. Let me stop. Oh, I love this. This is fun. My hair's acting up because I'm talking crap about Leo season, and they're like, we hear you. They're like, you think... The Leo energy is like, you think this came from nothing? They're like, yeah, okay. Oh, that's hilarious. I can't make this up. I love my job. Regardless. Make sure you get a reading, because then if you've liked any of the long bits of talk that I've had, imagine this literally just being about you, and then you just continuing on your life from there and having me as the resource to be like, what's up? Love y'all. This is fun. All right. The next part that I want to talk about before I forget about talking about it is that we have coming up on August 1st, and I will be making obviously a crap ton of stuff about it. I'm so glad that you're enjoying those. I realized I started doing way better on social media when I stopped caring. I literally stopped caring. I was like, I'm done. I was like, whatever. I was like, all this professionalism BS is a lie. I was like, I literally was like, let's put out some memes. I started getting readings out like from everybody. I'm like, yo, this is overseas. I'm like, yo, I'll really just be joking. I'm right, but I be joking though. And then I'm like, oh wait, I'm a Sag. This is my job. This is my job. I'm supposed to do this. So every day I wake up and I make memes. Maverick master of moving memes. It'll catch on eventually, or not at all, and I'll just keep saying it, and that'll be fun. Okay, let's get into the other parts of this, and if you are busy, by the way, I know this is Saturday in the middle of, like, everything else, you know what I'm saying? I struggle with the professionalism. Professionalism does not exist in the Gen Z generation because everything that we've ever seen... You want to see professionalism? Professionalism right now is getting your face scanned so they can use your likeness. That's professionalism. That's what that is right now. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to do. Comic Sans, hilarious. I understand the joke behind that font, which is why it's funny. Regardless, like we're just like really entering like this different phase and this different format of like what we find pleasurable, of what we find close to heart. You know what I'm saying? Vulnerability feels wrong. Throw professionalism back to 1982. I don't know why that's so funny, but it is. Just throw it all the way back. Deal with it. Because for real, like the professionalism portion, like, and maybe that works for you, right? And this is why we have to step back one more time. If your astrology screams professionalism, go be that professional, right? If yours screams, yo, let's be a creative and just work through that, go be a creative and work through that. If your chart says, hey, yo, go to this game and just don't do anything with that, there are certain people where I look at some things and I'm like, you just be on your couch watching football, don't you? They'll be like, yeah, sure am. But like, that's but that for real is like the difference though. And it's like also just knowing, honoring yourself. And it's okay to do that. Not everyone has to be some type of mega rich capitalist doing stuff. Some people just want to be able to live and exist because we're at that stage in the world where people just want to live and exist. And things be expensive, but people need to live and exist. So what's the best way to do that? If you can find something that brings those two worlds of what you love and what you can really produce together. It's going to look different for everyone. If you're taking an entrepreneur route, it's going to be difficult. If you're working for somebody else, it could still be very difficult. There's different caveats. There's different pros and cons to each thing. But the fact of the matter is honoring your heart, specifically during this Leo season. When the full moon gets into Aquarius, that's what I meant to mention, on August 1st, right? That's when things are going to start. You're going to start to meet people. You're going to start to find those connections that maybe you didn't know that you had. You're going to start to see parts of the network that maybe you didn't think that were supporting you, right? There's some of y'all in here I'm seeing for the first time, and I'm like, oh, y'all like me. It's lit. Oh, it's so cool. I love y'all. It's so cool. Last day of Cancer season, I could do that. But, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I don't work. That's my profession. Yo, in some people's mindsets, they're like, I've never worked a day in my life, and they get everything. But that's just so specific to who people are. And the more that you can choose to love yourself and work that through, the easier things start to become, because you're not looking outside of yourself to find comfort. You're like, oh, wait, I could just keep doing what I actually like to do. Because the universe got you. The universe got you. Astrology is so dope because it just shows you the formulas and the calculations of how the universe got you. That don't mean the universe ain't finna challenge you. That don't mean the universe isn't finna like make you do something and you're like, I don't want to go live about that. But it's like, but you said you was going to go live, so how about you do it? It's like, oh yeah. Yeah, I did want to go live. And now I'm having a great time. Wow, look at you guys. You guys are great. You know what I'm saying? How is a start of a new job today in Venus retrograde? So this is actually a really good question. Because some people ask, they're like, do I get into a new relationship? Do I get a new job? Listen, for real, every retrograde doesn't stop the world around you. If you need a new job, get the new job. Now, something about this new job to point out is one of two things. And when I hear this, right? When Venus retrogrades, you might be heading into a job that has a similar workplace vibe that an older place may have had. And so when you get in there and you start to learn the ropes, you might be like, this looks a lot like X, Y, and Z. And it's a fill in the blank. On the other note, you might be in an actual job where you're like, oh, shoot, I'm getting to use my skills of the stuff that I actually enjoy and just get that to go. And everyone's supporting me doing what I actually like to do. And they're telling me I'm really good at it. Like there's a couple of routes, but the idea is to trust in that process. You get what I'm saying? Obviously it's a little bit different looking at a specific chart, but like in general, that's like the vibe that I get from that. New perspective in love you are doing, right? So when it comes to love, right? Your exes, blah, 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 they're going to come up as some kind of theme, right? And that's not because they are coming up as the theme. They're coming up to be like, oh, shoot, remember so-and-so? Look how much you've grown. That's it. That's it. That's literally it. That's literally it. It's like, oh, wow, this is the person that comes up. Look how different things are now. And maybe for you, that's a sensitive moment. But if it's a really sensitive moment, that's because your ego is too attached to the fact that love has no bounds. And you're like, well, why wasn't I perfect? Did you even know who they were before that? Or did you assume based off of this? Did you even like really cultivate what they liked, their fears, your fears, what you like, into something where y'all were both in a partnership? Or did y'all just like doing the nasty a couple times and bumping uglies? And you were like, well, I only want to bump uglies with one person. I guess I'll just stay here. And that gets into a whole other conversation that I'm not finna have right now, because we're here to talk about Leo season. But make sure that the people that love you get to do you right, please. Oh, the horrors. Regardless. This helps me as I move my work into a nonprofit, because you don't know what you're doing. Literally, nobody knows what they're doing. And the second that you think that you know what you're doing, the universe will correct you. I'm going to keep it a buck. Nobody knows what they're doing. But the people that are winning follow their heart. The people that are winning stay consistent at following their heart. The people, like, that's really what it is, right? When I realized, I've been watching someone named Alex Hormozy. Shout out to Alex Hormozy. But he's one of those people where it's like, I've never seen somebody talk about business as an art form. So I really enjoy his work. And one thing that he mentions is just like, it's about just doing the ugly work consistently. And that's it. Like, that's the difference between like your favorite person that does this. Like, why is Ariana Grande? I shouldn't have mentioned Ariana Grande. Regardless, why is Ariana Grande? She worked on singing all that time. Right? Realize that's the whole game. Follow your heart. That's what this Leo season is about. And I'm glad that I got to come up here and just kick it with y'all, break this down. If you're listening to this later on your phone as you cook a meal, and be like, listen to this man's nice voice. Thanks. I appreciate it. No, but for real. It's this is just the vibe and energy that chill. Ariana Grande, the only reason why I have a gripe with that is because there was a time frame where I could have personally helped her and I got snubbed from that. And so now I see like all the things happen and I'm like, yeah, I literally just had to talk to her for like 15 minutes. I would have solved so many problems. Not the point. Let me see. I resonated with the person that they said they suffer from professionalism. Sometimes I feel I was treat people like they are evil companies. I've changed though. I see people as mentors now. That's actually a really good point, man. I don't want to say that incorrectly. I hope that's also not a bad word somewhere else. But just to be honest with you. But at least I'm gonna say G just to make it easier. So for G, like you said, you suffer from professionalism, right? And people are your mentors because the person that you hated the most is a reflection of you. The parent that ended up like giving you that BS where you're like, I just can't get rid of this. That's literally half of your DNA. Like, yes, you don't like it, but how can you take the things that they were good at and not be terrible about it? Like, you know what I'm saying? This is the vibe here. How do you know this as I'm eating rice? Because I know my audience. I love y'all, but come on. I know y'all. Come on, don't play me. I had a job auction and you didn't take it, and pursuing songwriting and music instead. It's scary, but I'm following my heart. I'm so scared, but life is to be lived. And I think that's life is to be lived in it. But the idea though, for real, is that like that's the change. Where it's like when you shift into that heart space and when you're like, okay, well, screw this. I'm just going to write the deepest, most rooted song. And that's when you hear all those people talking. They're like, like Adele. Like, what? She just came out of nowhere with Rolling in the Deep. Why? Because she ended up making something that was so true to heart, so true to spirit, so true to soul that everyone in the world, you didn't even have to even date a person in your life in order for you to feel where she was coming from. Because that was that human note. That's where talent comes out and the heart gets reached. And that's why music is also such a good tool for that. But if you listen to like AI Drake, like it bumped. But it's not like when Drake was saying something else and you were just like, or Marvin's Room, and you were just laying up there thinking like, man,
I'm thinking about this ex I ain't even have. That's crazy. I'm gonna call him anyway. Oh, my bad. Wrong number, bro. Oh, oops.
Wow. Like, there's a whole different contingency. Um,
Plenty of rice. Good. Eat more than rice if you are hungry. That is my other sidebar, but I can't help everybody. It's just not like that. You know how hard it is to get hot girls to drink water, let alone anything else? I don't know what to do with y'all. Y'all great though.
just took a new job instead of trying to make something it's not. Ooh, Venus in retrograde emotion. Let's get it. I'm finally ready to find my passion, taking the steps. Virgo rising, right? So this is also something important. Know your rising sign. I have an ebook about that as well. But knowing your rising sign gets rid of like a lot of the work. Screw human design. Learn your rising sign. Learn your rising sign. That's everything that you're aiming for. I guarantee that's what they use. Not that specifically, but I'm just saying. So yeah, that Virgo rising. Okay, you got that new job. Bet. So when you get meticulous about the new job, you get to meticulously set up the boundaries that you need. And this is the power of astrology in motion, not just on some page, not just somebody trying to be like, hey, you don't know anything. Here are the 3 things you need to know about this transit coming up on July. Like, shut up, bro. Get out of my face.
I'm just thinking about the really high-pitched people. I'm not hating it, just be funny. This is just part of it. Regardless. Much love.
So hating certain individuals has to do with more than I think. This is a real Venus retrograde moment. So let me really break this down. I'm gonna read it one more time. So hating certain individuals has more to do with me than I think, because most of the time I don't resonate with people I dislike. How do I self-reflect? Ooh, profound question. Thank you so much, flying me to Mars. Okay. So let me put this out with a disclaimer. This isn't anything about tolerating anything that's abuse related or anything that's in that realm. That's not what I'm saying. Just before I say any of this, for anyone who might be like, that's not what I'm saying. There are people in the world that are bad people, straight up. That's just what it is. So don't, for real, take that to heart if that's the case, right? But in general, on a general day-to-day basis, you're seeing something in somebody, and it's like, I don't like that, right? I'm going to use somebody I can think of on top of my head. I started working for this place. There was someone who was working there for longer than I was. And they weren't a manager, but they thought that they were a manager. And they tried their hardest to cling to the fact that I'm a manager, right? When I was looking at this person, to be really fair, I was like, if the wind blew you, you'd fall down with your weak self. But in my head, I'm like, why am I this geared into this? Like, why am I so mad at this person that I see nothing in, right? And that's of that regard, right? The concept was just like, oh, I don't like the way that they are acting because we're from a similar place of like nowhere and we treat things very differently, right? But I was like, that contingency point, the reason why I'm seeing that is because I'm like, oh, I'm also a small town kid, but you a small town kid that went way that way, and I went as narrow as I could be. But then again, that was me seeing that part of like that, and then I was like, oh, you're like this because you didn't have the same resources, or you didn't make the same things, or you didn't give the chance to have those conversations, and you just kind of thought that this was the ultimate toxic patriarchal thing that you could do in this moment. And it's like, I don't relate to that. But that was the trigger point, right? So, and then you just said, I think the person I dislike is genuinely a bad person, but their family. Your family isn't always your family. That's another thing too. There's a reason why when I talk about the 4th house and family, I talk about soul family, not your blood family. Does it have a relation? Of course, but not all kinfolk your kinfolk. Not the people closest to you even are the people closest to you in some cases. You get what I'm saying? Like, some people get raised by whole different people, and spiritually, that is their parent. Spiritually, that is the person that they rock with.
But if you think biological, you might not have any relationship with them at all. So we get so caught up in this like contingency of everything else. You get what I'm saying? They be the ones whom teach us. They do teach us, but it doesn't excuse the BS. And that's something I want to point out. It doesn't mean it's like you have to be like, oh, well, they teach me things, so I have to take this BS. It's like you can, if you can't win tit for tat, you can at least have space from them or honor the time frames where you're like, okay, you get what I'm saying? I know this is a little bit deeper. Obviously, we're not in like a specific reading, but this is just a vibe. But I hope that helps because I'm kind of on a tangent and people are still showing up, so I might as well talk. Yeah, you grew up in the same household but turned out real different. That's why astrology is important too, because it's like y'all can get raised the same way and be completely different people. Y'all could be twins, completely different people. Be like that. No, there's nothing to be sorry for. I appreciate you asking, for real. I really just hope that you end up getting a little bit of clarity from that, and just know that it's like it's okay to not like them. I think that's another thing too. So people are like, but they're supposed to be my third cousin. It's like if your third cousin makes your life a living hell at any given moment in your day, it is okay to not like them. If you still love them, that's cool too. But when you break up with someone, what do? You love them from a distance. Hopefully that's the case of everything. But been saying that forever too. I love my family, but it feels like sometimes I need to step out of their lives. It's really true. I love a good tangent. You know me. Come on, don't play. Family is where your soul is at home. That's what Cancer season was about, by the way. Where is your soul at home? Who are the people that you really talk to? What's the brand of person that you can deal with, right? I love creatives. I love people that have like really lofty ideals. I love people that are like, look at all this money I have. I don't know what to do with it. I love people that are like there's just so many things that I just enjoy out of people. I love the person that don't got nothing and can just like make anything out of anything. Like I love all of that. You know what I mean? And so I see in my soul family people of all different walks of life. And that's where it's like, there's the, what would Jesus do? And then the, what would Jesus do? And Jesus would just be like, what's up, everybody? I don't care. Jesus was cool with the pimps, the players, the ladies of the night, the people that was rich, the castle people, everybody, the cattle. He was cool with the things. And if he didn't like you, he'd smite your ass. He cold. If you look at the real stories, homie cold. I don't know that blue-eyed looking dude they be throwing up at some, but that's not my place to speak on. Songwriting, all that. Venus retrograde facts. Yeah, people got issues. You don't have to dig into your energy to fix other people either, though. And if they expect you to, that's not the type of energy you need to be around. Yeah, I'm really here to suck less. That's welcome to the human experience. Here we are. Buddha said all life was suffering. This said, hey, here's how you can look at your life so you don't suffer as hard. And then people be like, this is fake. I'm like, why y'all think y'all suffering? Well, I can't see what's coming next. Well, I just don't know myself. Well, no one will ever love me. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm having a good time. Appreciate y'all for being here. It's 2:22 PST. Let's go. Look at this. I did not look at the clock until then. Let's go. All right, let me just double check. Let me double back. Let me get back real quick. I know we got into a tangent, but this is all real for this Venus in retrograde for real. So I appreciate y'all for spending this time with me on this Saturday to break this down for real. Especially for y'all who are up at like 2 in the freaking morning watching this. Y'all wild. I would have done the same thing though. So, the last bits about this season. We're going to have the full moon in Aquarius, which I'll be talking about soon. And then we're going to be going into the new moon in Leo, right? So the full moon in Aquarius, what's this about? It's about you being the individual, showing up as your weird self. And now I'm loving this live. I'm here with the tea. Till it gets too hot, then I'm going to stop. But for real though, like,
the full moon in Aquarius, this is about finding your people. New moon in Cancer was about opening up the space, and with the North Node was really about opening up the space in your emotional pool and in your soul to actually have enough love available in your heart to meet those people. When the full moon in Aquarius hits, this is you actually being like, I'm feeling out the void. I'm starting to finally see the people in my life who are supposed to be a part of my heart, and not just as a figment of my imagination, but as a part of my soul group, my family of soul. Yes, that's literally what's supposed to happen. And then for the new moon in Leo, it's like, okay, cool. Now that you have your folk, now you have your people, now you know who to lean on. How do you build your kingdom? How do you build your own sense of royalty in this life? How do you own the space that you walk amongst every day? And how does that look to you? And how does that feel for everyone else? Now, how does that look to everybody else? How does that feel for everybody else? Because I guarantee the favorite people that you're looking at, the reason why is Margot Robbie one of the most popping actresses right now? Because she got to just be her. And like, oh my God, I love this franchise, and got to just play that and bring herself into that role. I haven't watched it or nothing. And this is the last movie I will speak on, period, before they stop tripping on that other stuff. But I think this is the last one that they gave the okay for, whatever the case. I want to make sure that I at least honor the people that are on strike as best as possible in this regard, because they be on BS. They're still gonna do it anyway, but I at least stand with y'all. Like, to be real, like, you know. But that's because I know astrology, and that's another point. Get a reading, everybody. What am I talking about? Thank y'all for showing up. Please make sure you get a reading. If you sign up or if you download any of my ebooks that are out right now, you're gonna get onto my email list, and I'm gonna be sending y'all something special tomorrow. So be aware of that. And if you missed it, that's your fault, because I told you. Last note to this Leo season, because I'm tired of all this looking and searching and all that. We're just going to get straight to the heart again. True Leo essence, you know. So I guess to slowly close this Leo season is just trying to reignite the fire. And that fire that you're going to have to kindle it though, right? This Leo season isn't going to be just like, we're out here, it's hot girl summer, it's like, woo. It's not going to be like that. It can get like that. And the people that do the work are going to be on that times 3. And it's going to be like, oh my God, it's so lovely. But the idea of that, on the flip end, is like when people really have to sit there and be like, yo, this is where I was wrong in these relationships. And you got to eat that. And that's okay. We're living a human experience. When you judge yourself, there are people in this live stream or who dumped off this live stream or whatever the case is, who are still upset with somebody that doesn't even exist in their life anymore. And it's been years. Your skin, and this is to help. This isn't to like go over, because I know some people really do deal with some real stuff. Right? For real, I get that. But when it comes to like the skin, like your skin changes every 7 years. So I think there was this quote from Tumblr, probably, to be honest. But it was just like, you know, if someone hurts you at a certain point, like you literally become a different person, and like they have never actually touched you as a person where you are now. Like they never did, because that skin just changed and formed over that time frame. I know that that's going to resonate from somebody. Maybe if it doesn't resonate for you, I'll completely get that too. But just something to keep in mind. Like, you're really shedding your skin for this Venus retrograde. And wherever you can improve and approach it from a place of improvement, that's what's going to change that. No, it's literally about me. I knew it was going to resonate with somebody, but I didn't want to, like, you know what I'm saying? Your DNA completely modifies after trauma and pain. That is true. And this Venus retrograde is to like sit there and to be like, okay, this got modified. How do I modify it to where this is something that I can resonate with? This is something that I can turn into my power. This is something I can help heal with. And that's the human wound really interacting with the astrology, really interacting with real life, really helping your daily life and letting you become a better person in the process. At least that's the goal. More clear on what you want, more clear on what's going on. And in a world where everything is at your fingertips, being able to at least see what's going on in a scope that hits the heart changes everything. Your DNA also shifts when you heal, which is a beautiful thing. And that's the caveat in the back and forth of why astrology will hit people the way it does. Because it's like, didn't we just deal with this shift? Why is there another one? Because you need more work to be done. You think the universe out here being like, oh, they've dealt with so much, I haven't even done anything to them. Look at that. And then you're there like, oh, that wasn't personal? And it's like, no. It's like, it felt personal. It's like, wait, it's not about how you feel. The work is never done. That's why astrology is a lifetime job. Here we are. Thank you for experiencing the opening moments of all this. And yeah, I just appreciate y'all. I love y'all for real. And all the best to Leo season as we started up. I'm going to shut up now, probably for the rest of the day. And I will be sending you all a beautiful email tomorrow. And I have a gift that will be coming through, and I will be really giving y'all. I'm just going to give it to y'all, for real. Just like, here you go. Here's the Astrology 101 workbook. It's 110 pages, I think, of just straight up info. It's going to be a lot to digest, but it's supposed to be a guide. Like, that's the point. Like, look at your chart. I don't even have any graphs in it on purpose, because I'm like, look at the chart with this. So when you're like, what does that mean? Oh, that's what it means. Make it as real as possible. Regardless, I'm now tired. I shall get water, as you all should as well. But hot girls don't drink water. And that's who's on this page. So, yeah. I'm going to be out. Y'all stay up. Much love.